Hello YouTube! So here I am back with another little video. Today, bless you. It's my cat. Gee, oh my goodness, bless you. You good? Oh my god, it's got this dusty up here. I definitely need to dust. You better? And again? I think we may now begin with the proceedings of the video. Apologies for that. Are you sure you're good? Yeah, she's good. Anyway, hello, I'm Molly. I'm back with another little video. This one is about my top tips and things I've learned throughout my career of being an interior designer. So I've learned some lessons that you don't have to. This video is mainly for you if you're gonna do some interior design in your own house and you want to be your own interior designer. If you're thinking about going into a career in interior design, this should give you some insight into some tips and tricks and things to bear in mind when you're doing your first projects, etc. And also if you're thinking of working with me, this gives you a little insight into how I work, my background and some of the things I've learned, etc. So let's just get into it. One of my first things I would love to talk about is going with your gut instinct. Now there is one, I know you know it, I know you can feel it, it's definitely in there. My biggest challenge when I go to, my biggest work when I get called out to someone's house is whoever I'm working with will say to me, I was thinking about painting this wall a really, really dark blue, but I'm scared and I don't know, and I'd really like to, but I don't know. I think at that point, just do it. I cannot tell you how many times that I have gone to a client's house, we've been looking through the books and they've gone, oh, I like that fabric, that one, I love it, I really like that one. And I've gone, okay, and they've gone, no, wait, but there's so many options, or let's keep flicking. And I'm like, okay. And then honestly, I could sit there for, I don't know, as long as an hour, as long as 2 hours, and just flick through relentless books and pages and patterns of samples and things. And then I would literally go with a solid, no, I'm going to go with the solid 90% of the time, they will go back to the one they picked in the first place. When it jumps out at you and you think, that's what I like, that's what I want to do, you should just do it. Absolute worst case scenario, which I promise you won't happen, you can, if you paint a wall blue, you can paint it white again after several coats. But still, it's really, I can't express enough how many times that happens, that you get a feeling, you want to do it, you'll just and ah about it for ages and you might talk yourself out of it. So if you really think about it and you really want to do it, just do it. I have got a little list in front of me because I ramble so much otherwise. I'm doing it already, so I have to have some bullet points, otherwise this would go on for way too long. My second point would basically be, don't copy a catalogue. It's really, really easy. And I say that if you're looking for that really slick show home contemporary look where you do want it to just look like it came out of a magazine and you want it to be really pristine and all placed beautifully and stuff, I get that. You can catalogue copy, but I feel that if you really want to elevate your interior design, you've got to shop about. You've got to, this sort of leads me on to my next point, you've got to get in your car and drive around to reclamation yards, antique places, individual furniture shops, and look at things in the flesh and touch and feel them. Obviously this way you get really good discounts and savings as well, as opposed to just going online and going on somewhere generic like, and lovely, but like John Lewis or Next, and you could just say blue sofa, they'll send you a blue sofa and it will come. I think there's so much more to be said for shopping around, seeing things in the flesh, getting an accumulation of eclectic bits and pieces and putting them together. And I can guarantee you it will make your whole space feel so much more advanced, elevated, real, lived in, like a hug, as opposed to, if I say lived in, contradiction, that makes it sound kind of like it's not going to be polished. It will look more polished when you found things from various places, because I feel like there's always this sort of slightly dead feeling that comes with catalogue copying. You sort of go, well, I get that rug and I get that sofa, I get that lamp, and it all look beautiful like the catalogue picture, but it doesn't feel real and it doesn't feel nice. Which brings me on to my next top tip, which is about really, all you've got to do is really think about how the space feels. So this is whether you're designing your own home or whether you're designing something for someone else as an interior designer. It's really not good enough to just think, oh, well, I like this and I like this and I like this, so I'm going to buy them and put it in the space and that'll be that done. It's so important to think about, well, how am I going to feel in the space? So I can give you an example where a while ago, it's so dusty, she's sneezing again. Apologies for the interruption. I can give you an example of where I have painted my bedroom a really dark, rich ruby red, which honestly did look stunning. It was very rich and, you know, opulent and stimulating. And after a while, I started to feel like slightly uncomfortable in my own bedroom, which sounds really weird. It was just too dark and too oppressive, and it didn't feel right, which I know sounds a bit naff, but I swear that's what happened. Then I decided to paint it a really light, lovely, fresh shade of sagey green. And oh my God, I honestly can't tell you how much it changed the feel of the room. I sleep better, it's much more peaceful, it's much more calming. So there is a lot of colour theory that I'll go into another video and things, but it's more looking at the whole approach as to how does the space feel. If you want it to be a calming space, paint the room green. If you're, you know, say you're designing a room for a living room, or you're sitting watching telly thinking, how do I want to change my living room around? Think about the lighting. So when, you know, it gets to the evening time and you don't want to put the big, bold, you know, middle ceiling lights on, which are bright white and feel a bit clinical, make sure you've got a little standard lamp or a table lamp so it feels all cozy and warm and ambient. Make sure you've got a soft rug at your feet. Make sure there's plenty of room to move around the space comfortably. These are all the things that elevate your own space and your skills as an interior designer from, yeah, that room looks good, to that room looks good and feels good and I feel comfortable in it and confident in it. And that is what elevates the design. Another thing which kind of crosses over with that is, particularly if you're more minimal and you don't want to do really bold colours and loads of textures and really vibrant wallpapers and crazy, you know, maximalist stuff, texture is so important. It's important in both, but particularly if you're going more subtle, you just want sort of whites and beiges and nice soft like colours. Texture is so important. That's what changes a room from being a white box with a white sofa and a white rug to, I've got this textured, you know, it's a soft wallpaper, but it's got a herringbone, like, you know, creamy beigey texture on it against this lovely plush velvet sofa with all different, like, you know, linens and cottons and velvets and big knitted woolly throws. And then next to it, I've got this sort of wooden basket, which adds another bit of interest and variety, with a big plant next to it to then balance out the softness. So it's basically about introducing as many textures as you possibly can and layering them so it's soft and textured and organic. And that, once again, makes a space go from sort of, oh yeah, it's just like a nice clinical white room, to, oh, it feels lovely, it feels comfortable, and it feels like home. That is a really big thing for me. Not just implementing what I want to do all of the time. Obviously, I've got to put my own edge on everything. I've got my own design ideas. I'm going to implement them and advise customers as much as I can. But the most important thing for me is making sure that you listen to the client. It's so easy to listen to them kind of on a shallow basis, sort of go, oh, you want like a sort of like Scandi theme? Oh, I'll just go on Pinterest and pick you a Scandi theme then. You've got to listen to them. Not only about their interior design, about their life. Maybe they have kids, maybe their kids have just moved out, maybe they have a dog, maybe you've got to think about trying to create a little, you know, a den because the man or the woman doesn't have time on their own, or maybe they mention that they like sewing, so you set them up a sewing area. So, you know, you've got to really not only listen on a shallow basis, but really get to know your client, because that, once again, and get to know yourself. If this is, so again, if you're an interior designer, get to know your client. If you're designing for yourself, get to know yourself. Really take the time to think about what you want the space to feel like, what you want to achieve, and then just work your way back. And I promise that will create something magical. I hope you found this video useful, and sorry it was a bit rambly. I'm going to do some more top tip videos and more sort of bullet point ones as opposed to a ramble, but this is sort of a big overview of some of the things that I find most important and some of the things that I've learned through my career. So hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Mwah!